If you have a preference, by all means request it.
Okay.
Let's look at it. If it's determined that it makes sense, I have no problem with that.
So software
But-
like Final Cut Pro, which
Yeah.
is something maybe the students
the
want to
app,
learn.
right.
And
Or
it's
the
certainly,
iPad.
Or that, yeah.
Because right now, right, because.
If that makes sense,
if it gets you the
we'll
quality
work.
you need.
We're looking for quality on that TV screen. Okay, that's what we're looking for.
I
Because,
understand you're thinking of quality, but and again, I don't want to, I think what Sheila's saying is absolutely true. I mean, we have students that have started their own company. We have a student who graduated, started his own company last June. This summer, he produced his first 5-minute video, was paid $6,000, and with a grant from the University of Maryland.
Right,
So in other words, the students aren't what we would normally
Right.
think of as students.
right.
And we want to
Yeah.
encourage that kind of school to career.
because exactly, because you know what, I 100% back these two up on it, because sometimes with less, you get more in the creative, and I don't want to say creative aspect, but the quality aspect, because you know it's a not one shot deal, but you know that's what you have, you know how to use it. And I've seen a lot of people that when new programs come out, you know I'm more comfortable in one or the other. I can do both. I know I'm more comfortable in Avid than I am in Final Cut Pro. But then if you have someone sitting in front of Final Cut Pro and they don't know Avid, that's turning someone totally upside down.
Right, but the question
You're
is-
basically telling these people that, oh well, you have this program. We're gonna throw you in something that takes some people
Well,
in 4
it takes
years.
away the local control.
Exactly.
Right now, we have real
What
transparency
we
between
would
the high
do
school and
is
the
what's comfortable, if you have your production crew in place, my God, it would make sense to provide that production crew with the equipment that they're comfortable with.
Okay.
I have no objection to that.
Okay.
What we're
And
doing
whether
is
we
in
want to own
every,
it or not is also
and
up
if
to
whether
us.
you want to own it or not, if you decide to own it, you take on the total
Right.
I
responsibility.
think we're more or
That's-
less
I think
saying, we're
that's-
looking for a floor of
Sure.
quality. We don't want to go
Okay.
below a certain floor.
For example, we don't want,
I
if,
think
if,
we're
if
there.
what you're doing is, and what, and just say this as hypothetical. If the equipment that you think is so great is really junk and it's not working for you, why would we want to say, hey, let's continue to support that? We'd like to upgrade you and give you that support that you need.
And I think
But
that this
that's
is a
what we're looking
product
for.
of us getting to know each other and you getting to
Mhm.
know our content as it is and the quality of what we're doing and the quality of the students that are coming to us. Because we've got a great source here. We don't want to turn off this tap.
Correct, correct.
I mean, do we really need 90 audio tracks and 90 video tracks?
Of course
Of
not.
course
We
not.
haven't made any final decisions on the
On equipment.
technologies
Yeah,
that
the
we're going
technology
with
is-
the various towns
yeah.
right now. We're still in the
Exactly.
exploratory
Yeah.
stage
Yeah.
because.
We've had some towns that have an idea of what equipment they want, so we said, hey, send that to us, and we research it and say, hey, this is good, or you know what?
So this is all
Here's
part of the
something-
negotiation.
But what-
It's all a part, sure.
What we're moving towards technology-wise is, production is a large aspect of what, town meetings are about. Post-production is becoming smaller and smaller part of the equation. So we're looking into systems that are easier to use and take less people to use, because we found that a lot of complaints that we get from towns is, you
There's a
need
lot of
3
turnover.
camera people, you need somebody to run the
yeah.
switcher. Technology has allowed it to become a 1-2-person operation now. So that's kind of the area we're moving into.
That's the TriCaster you're talking about? Wouldn't it
Well,
still-
not necessarily the TriCaster, but, we're looking into various systems where you have remote robotic cameras tied into one master control system. TriCaster happens to be one system. There are others out there, and we're still evaluating them.
That would enable someone like PUA to sit at a control board while the meeting's going on live and switch cameras and Zoom
Correct.
and that sort of thing.
Mhm.
So that's a one-person operation, and we do need to be mindful of the
And that's the
taxpayer here
feeling.
in town.
That's the feeling.
And part of what your proposal here is that we can get some underwriting of our costs for personnel in order to do camera work.
Exactly.
But we have to match it
You have
dollar
to
for
match it
dollar.
dollar for dollar.
Now, let me ask you about page
And let
3
me
of
let me
this.
just share the
Mhm.
the philosophy around that. We have found that when there is that kind of a commitment, it works. The other reason we're able to allow it is because in the Area 9 franchise for their renewal, they have
They
a
did.
kind of similar program.
Right.
The DPUC ordered them that their grant cannot be used for compensating people. So what we've said is, well, wait a minute. We're not as far along as what the program has been over the last couple of years in that other franchise, but what we will make a commitment to doing is, we do see some merit to that, The town
You
kicks
wanna
in.
underwrite.
Now, I don't even think the department would have a problem with it because there's a partnership between the access facility and the municipality. So that's why that is there, and that makes
Okay.
sense, makes perfect sense.
To go on to page 3 for a minute, we need to tape to
Mhm.
close? Sure.
We're doing that now with
You
Bassett High
can
School.
dump
Okay, we're gonna come back to
Platt
order.
High School in Milford.
Folks,
Oh,
we're
so
gonna
if you
come
have
back to order so
something
we're not burning
Get that
peas.
to
That's
me.
great. That's great.
We're not making an editing
It's
chore for
interesting.
Pua.
Sorry.
I had a question on page 3 of your
Mhm.
proposal on how to apply. It says pretty clearly, eligible participants are not required to apply for an incentive program award as a precondition of having their programming disseminated
Correct.
over the community access channels. And I think that it might be useful as we come back to the negotiating table to sort of tease these out separately. I know that this is, it's labeled an incentive program rather than a grant program, and it's meant to, bring us to the table and offer the content piece of the negotiation. I just want to underscore that we could be having a negotiation just about the content and how many hours of scheduling we're going to do without having the idea of bringing in some money for this. Because right now, it's pretty open-ended. It's $60,000 and there's no determination yet how that will be carved up. It's not as though the entire 60,000 pot is available. We can get whatever share of it. It's going to depend on who else applies and what the other applications are and which deal you like best, essentially. So I'm not sure that we want to, at the same time as we're negotiating the content time slots and the scheduling.
It's different,
be
yeah, they're two
negotiated.
separate things.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're right.
In order to get to this stage of the incentive,
Right.
the scheduling has to be completed.
right.
Yeah, well, that should be done right away.
So we need to do that right away. Once that's completed, we can then move into this.
So why don't we try to do that with the next time we get together, and this group will come up with our scheduling proposal. And what I think we'd like to know, because my sense of this is, the incentive program is not the only way we can get the webcasting, the on-demand web and the archive. Is that correct?
No, you don't need the, yeah,
Okay.
you
So
don't need
let's
this
first
program to do
negotiate
that.
those pieces, because I think that's something
Yeah.
that you're offering us that the people in town would really be interested
Mm-hmm.
in. And I think that if we can make a determination of what kind of scheduling and what kind of added, value add we're getting for Soundview for that schedule. Because people really will want to know how much time we have to give up to get what. I don't want people to feel that, the DPUC made a decision and now we're losing our channel. And that's literally what people have been talking about. So we need to correct that by having something to show them to say, we gave up X number of hours in order to get this.
And
we
we're
think
trying
that's
to
a good deal.
enhance the programming.
Right.
So there's more variety out there.
As a matter of